Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I'm your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is a show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. Yes, it is at the end of February that I am shooting my Black History Month show. I do understand that, but it's going to be an awesome show today. I have a reoccurring guest for this awesome show that really doesn't need any introduction unless you are a new listener. I have Mr. Black Samson himself. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I am Kari Sampson, aka Roroni KJS.
All right. So today's show, we're going to talk about the best Black hero clicks that we see in the game currently. And should you play him? Should you not play him? Actually, it's going to be you're going to be playing them. But we're also going to talk a little bit. Are they going to be decent or actually good in new rules? So we both have a list of figures. So I am going to let Kyrie start off first. What's your let's just say what's one of your figures that are noteworthy that you feel like, yeah, folks, you need to play this fake piece.
So, a little bit that I just need to say right off the bat. When it comes to competitive play, Edward is the man here. I am Mr. Fun. I neglected to say in my intro that I'm also webmaster of heroclix.com, which is where it's all about fun. Focus on figures that are fellowship worthy, that are still useful, and most of all have something nifty or nerdcore about them. If you in. And so my criteria for what's good might be a lot different from what a top tier player like Edward might say. That said, I do have an actual top tier figure. And the first one that I think about when you mention what's a competitive or a really good figure to play, it's still going to be Captain America number 56 from Disney+.
Oh, okay.
That is the first figure that I reach for when I think of what's a black figure in this game. That is just good.
Okay. Because he starts out, he gets the Cap Shield plus he gets Red Wing.
Mm-hmm. Red Wing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is pretty good. I ended up facing that yesterday when I went to my locals. Sorry. And so I laughed because this year...
I'd say I'm sorry because, I figured maybe that was a really tough fight. But on the other hand,
so here I was playing my locals, and I'm not going to throw any insult. I straight lost, and he's like, I thought you were going to play your Black History Month team, and I was like, with everything that's been going down, I sort of forgot about it. And when we started putting stuff down, I'm like, this is going to suck because I'm probably about to lose. This is like the one year I don't build a Black History Month team. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, yep, I'm about to lose to a Black History Month team. So, I actually played against that piece. It's a really good piece. Let's go in. Why do you like that piece?
So what I should have done before I got on this cast was go back and kind of review my own website because he was, one of my top 10 favorites from last year, and I could just read you that entry, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna say I like hypersonic figures sometimes, and he's a really good one.
Fine. That's fine. I personally, I think that he, for his points, because I played against him at 75 points, is pretty good. It definitely hurt me a bunch when I played against it because, for one core reason, I had 3 Batgirls And again, I'm running mystery cards, and they're all clumped together. And he just
Oh
rolled up
dear.
and killed them. Yep, he rolled up and killed them like super easily. And
Yep.
I'm just, I mean, the player had a right because I perplexed down Captain America's attack by 3. So, I mean, I can
Oh boy.
understand if you're a little frustrated at that point
Yeah.
with me doing that. But yeah, like I got quaked, and I got, let me rephrase it. I got quaked and I got EE'd because he had a way of getting rid of my terrain from my smoke cloud. So, yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah.
How did you get rid of your terrain from your smoke cloud?
There's a couple of characters that can do that. So we'll get into that
Okay.
later. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
So anyway, anyway, so like I really do like that piece. It is pretty good, and then having the
Mhm.
Avengers Initiative is nice for wild cards. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that that's some potential that you have there. And then everyone, if you paid attention to some of my previous shows last year about me talking about swap and how you could just swap out your Captain America or several of your Disney Plus characters and just get free equipment, that is something that is to be noted as well. In the new world, competitively, I I think he has a little bit of a place. And here's why. At 75 points, he can hypersonic speed Quake, okay? And in doing so, knock out a whole bunch of barrier and then sort of maneuver around. And I think that's going to start being a theme. It's like, oh, hey, look, I can do these useful things that will help the team. While at the same time, he has a pretty high defense. He's sitting at a 20 because of the cap shield, and he has ESD. So, 18 base defense is not bad. You're going to still need leadership going forward. So, yeah, I definitely like this piece. Uh, my first piece of note, and I'm going to bring this one up in part because previously I wasn't too hot on it. And I
Okay.
know this is going to sound like a little weird for me to go back to this piece, but it is Avengers Forever Black Panther at 25 points. Okay. I really wasn't a fan of it at first. Now, with new rules and the way things are shifting, I think we're going to see more pieces like this. So it's for
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, I
we're
can
going
see
to see
it.
a lot more pieces like this, where it's 3 clicks. He goes charge flurry, but only if Black Panther stealth. Sorry, charge flurry stealth. No, sorry, charge stealth flurry. I need to read, but only if Black Panther occupies hindering terrain. At first, I thought this was really
Ugh.
bad because
Yeah, I hate it.
yeah,
I hate
that
that
that he
aspect
has
of
to
it. I'll
be in
just put it.
hindering terrain. What
And they keep doing this to Black Panther. Like they keep making him kind of tied to hindering terrain in a way that other characters aren't necessarily.
Yeah, like he
And
never fought in the
drives me
open. Like
crazy.
I'll say this, you can tell most of the designs for Black Panther are either I watched Black Panther the movie, or I watched him in one of the times he appeared in a Disney movie, or I read like maybe one arc of early Black Panther when they reset it in the early 2000s or something like that. You could tell like they didn't read any
Mm.
Black Panther like when he and Storm and he were married, or you could tell they didn't read any like more
Or
recent Black Panther.
Priest
Yeah,
Panther
yeah,
or yeah, the
yeah,
recent ones. Then maybe not
yeah.
most recent ones. Ugh,
So yeah,
not
so
talking about
I
that.
can say it's like yeah, can it get if you don't have a whole bunch of Dora Milaje and some other stuff there, Is it really a good idea to have a generating, panther all the time? I can get that, but like you can make a pog panther where it's like he has all these other backups that can come in, and even if you make them situational, I still think that would be good. But that's not the point of the show. Is me complaining about Black Panther.
No, it's not.
Sorry. No. I would go there anyway. But here's why I think like this is a good figure. You're going to say to yourself, well, this is a 3-move charge. How is this good? Well, with map shrinking, that is pretty decent. And our last episode, when we had Lucas Van Hollen on, we started talking about smaller maps. The other thing is with theme teams, sort of, I'm going to call it, theme teams are going to die for a period. They just are.
There's not as much point in trying to build.
So with theme teams dying for a bit, you do have the Bat Belt, and there's enough Bat family figures. Getting that for free and getting Smoke Cloud out for a third to 2/3 of your game is not even a problem. So I do think like this figure is going to be useful. There are enough things out there that do support him in terms of terrain generation, and he's a leadership. Like he's a combat-worthy leadership. Now, if he's your only leadership,
inexpensive too.
Inexpensive too. Inexpensive leadership who can sort of throw hands and sort of protects himself. So I like this piece. I think it's actually decent. So what's your next piece?
Well, just want to add one more thing about this Black Panther. Even though you're not likely going to lean as heavily on theme teams, if you build an Avengers theme team around him, you can use his team up card. On these smaller maps, that's going to be actually pretty powerful.
Yeah, and give me a second, because unfortunately, this is one of the problems with Realms. Like, sometimes it'll be like, oh, hey, here's the team up cards. And then sometimes it's like, oh, lower value, the team up card doesn't exist.
You need to be.
Oh no, yeah, I'll just bring it up. Team up Avengers theme team. If Black Panther is part of the listed theme team, friendly characters modify defense by +1 if they are closer to your starting area than any other starting area. Congratulations, you are going to understand what it's like to play Wakanda. That's literally. That's literally the Wakanda. Your main figures you have to bust Wakandans. Are we closer to home? We are stronger. We can never leave Wakanda. Then we lose all our power. Anyway, all right. So what's I'm done. Anyway, what's your next figure?
My next figure is another one that was on my top 10 favorites from last year, and that is Blue Marvel.
Oh man, you took one from my list, but yeah.
This piece is so just to have a little bit of story time. My preferred point level for that Captain America we were talking about is at 4 points.
Okay.
Even though he's a little too many points, honestly, but he's so strong at that level that he can actually hold it down pretty well. I took that piece at that level to Worlds with the goal of just being like, I want to get one win with this all black everything team at Worlds, and then I'm gonna drop and play Battle World. It was purely a bucket list thing because I had no illusions about being able to take that thing to any sort of winning record at Worlds competition. But I did get a solid win with authority against an X-Men team. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I feel quite accomplished in that. Anyway, I had this team together, and now I see this Blue Marvel who is not going to replace that Captain America, but I did put him on team at a lower point value. It's another version of the same team, and he did some work. If I had played it better, I might have done really, really well.
Yeah.
one of the things that I really like about this Blue Marvel, aside from the fact that he is this great, wonderful apology from WizKids for the previous version of Blue Marvel we got some years ago. Just taking a moment to remember it and then just cleanse my mind of it, because this one is better in every way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a solid piece, and it's mostly because of his trait, which keeps him pretty much from ever being one shot from range. Because when he's targeted by a range attack after resolutions, heal him one click and then remove an action token from him. Since he has a stop click or two, he's probably not ever going to be killed from range with one shot. But more than that, the other part of his trait gives him Force Blast and Pulse Wave. That is a pretty good combination with the return of knockback damage, because suddenly you'll be able to run and shot him within range of a bunch of folks. Now newly extended 4 range instead of currently.
Yes.
Force blast them all and just knock them all off buildings and into walls, and suddenly everybody is taking 2 damage, possibly, instead of just the 1. And even at just the 1, it wasn't so bad. So yeah, Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel's the second one that I will consider if I'm trying to build a pretty good black.
So
at 50.
Yeah.
At full price, I'll play him at full.
Okay, so here's something that you actually got me like sort of coming back and thinking about, is that with the current like range change, it goes, you get that replacement of 4, and then you can start adding in your modifiers. But him also having just Force Blast. Like, he doesn't have knockback. He has Force Blast. And you could just select characters at range to Force Blast. And that, to me, is something that is really useful. The one click of Outwit, I sort of wish it was an Outwit Perplex or an Outwit Prob, considering the history of the character. I mean, I can't really get too mad with his current, it's like, we have to balance out his current trait now. And he still has decent values, okay? Like, he has 3 clicks of an 11 and then a 10. I mean, come on. It's almost like they were saying, like, come on, Edward. I know that you might be mad about some things, but we did him good enough, okay? Like, he's good enough. The other thing that I like about this piece is that he has Power Cosmic. And I think that a lot of people are going to realize in the next year and a half how important Cosmic is going to be in the overall scheme of the game. Because when you have closer encounters, having more options that are ready to go and able to remove tokens off themselves, it matters. It really does matter. And there are enough equipment options that do make him a lot more positive. Ironically, the 2 that come to my mind, because I'm going to bring them up later, are Super Soldier Serum and the Green Lantern Ring. Being able to increase your Power Cosmic roll, and now it's a 50-50. That's huge. You're like, no, roll for willpower. All right. You are more likely with that figure to be taking actions than you are to be clearing. And I think that's going to be a big deal, considering that, he functionally can't die from range without a whole bunch of other shenanigans happening. So yeah, I like this piece too. All right, my next piece is one that I talked about recently. I have a dark horse one, but I'm going to hold on to that. But I'm going to snatch this one up because I believe he's going to be on your list too. I like Cyborg. I really, really like Cyborg. And the main reason I like Cyborg is he has the potential at 75 or 50 points to be useful. And Green Lantern, like I said, Green Lantern Ring, Super Soldier Serum, he can get that to increase his willpower roll, so that you can just start giving out powers, because he has let's see, trait power moves, willpower, but succeeds on 4 through 6. When Cyborg uses it and succeeds, choose a standard attack power, and you may choose an adjacent friendly character. Cyborg and the chosen character can use the chosen power this turn. So not only is he getting like a pick power, but he is also giving it to an ally. And that to me is really big. And then you had the whole meatball party thing, which I should have used last night, but I was super focused on me picking powers. Meatball party, when an opposing character is generated within range or placed within range this turn, they immediately gain immobile and modify attack by -1. You don't even need to have line of fire. You just got to be in range. And
suddenly your maggot is just like, no, your Enium, meaning they're just not doing anything unless, well, Eni's not doing anything. Meanie might be able to do something.
And this is the big deal is that a lot of teams going forward are going to have hyper taxis or Green Lantern taxis. That's just going to be the reality. And being able to say like, oh, that whole crew that you placed within 5 squares are now immobile. Congratulations. There's no charging for you next turn. So I like him. All right. So
I had not taken a close enough look at him, so he actually wasn't on my.
Yeah, I got one. All right. So, all right. What's your next piece?
I'm gonna counter because she's Afro-Latina. It's America.
Is she? Okay.
I mean, she's on my list because I'm
okay. Player. So you have
and
go ahead.
Being able to hyper speed and carry. That's something that no other character can do in the game right now. Not only hyper speed and carry, but she can carry 2 of them. Because of the way hyper speed works, she can carry a couple of Empower figures on somebody really hard, then maybe get away with them. Or she can fly in, punch somebody, then evac somebody with her second half of her move, or the second move of hypersonic speed. Got improved movement smash blocking. Destroy blocking, I need to use the right terms. So she can do it through...
Yeah,
wait, does she do it? No, she doesn't destroy.
No, yeah. That...
movement.
That could be sort of sneaky
really
good. That could be sneaky good at times.
Yep. And that she is a sneaky good figure for just 50 points. I wish she was tougher because this is American Chavez, and she is a tougher type figure. But yeah, I like it. She's not going to be on my top competitive teams though.
Yeah,
she's here, and although she might be one of them type of Puerto Ricans who might try to say, "Hey, I'm not black." Sorry, you Afro-Latina.
Okay.
If she was a Dominican character, then maybe I would actually lean more into her not being black because they are so.
Yeah, I would say for those who don't understand Hispanic politics, I can say there's a whole bunch of things that I've experienced in the Latin club.
Yeah, we might be getting.
Yeah. Okay. My, I think she's pretty decent. Again, sort of going forward, I think she may potentially have some uses. The only problem of her not having improvement movement, destroy blocking, which is an issue, is that she can't roll up, sit in barrier in that square in which she would move into for barrier, and then make an attack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way destroy block will be able to do.
So
Yeah,
improve movement, and I think this is an observation that probably most hadn't caught yet, especially me, is that in new rules, improved movement blocking does sort of get a minor downgrade to improve and then to improve movement destroys blocking. And I know a lot of folks will say like, well, the walls are intact and I can go back and I can hide behind X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, yeah, that is true. But creating these holes that the team needs is actually going
is the secondary. Yeah, that's the secondary use for destroy.
And so,
in fact, it's actually the primary use for destroy blocking move.
So unfortunately, like it does create this new conundrum that I don't think we really were mindful of. Because again, there's a whole bunch of stuff right now that again I think most of us haven't covered in terms of like looking at the rules and the impacts. So my pick is Prodigy. Okay, my next pick is Prodigy. Now, I had been reading what was it? It was like New Mutants and Hellions and the new New Mutants, not like classic New Mutants, like the new Mutants and the classic and the new Hellions. Okay. That was like early 2000s that this came out. And my boy Prodigy, oh man. I mean, he came out when the X-Men were still wearing leather. You know? You know, like...
And me, for my part, Prodigy came on my radar during the Young Avengers run.
Okay.
That team.
So...
That's why he's not in my hands right now, because I have the Young Avengers in a box ready for some future week of play, and that's why I don't have it in my hands right now. But yeah, you said Prodigy, and I agree that Prodigy is one of those pieces that people are overlooking right now, but probably not going to for much longer, because he's got some really interesting tricks.
So here's the first thing I'm going to say with Prodigy. Prodigy, his rally die is really good. Like, stupid level good. Opposing attack rolls. When another friendly character within 6 squares... rally 5 for opposing attack rolls. When another friendly character within 6 squares in line of fire rolls a single D6, you may remove one of Prodigy's rally dice to replace that die. Now,
that rally dice is a 5.
Rally die is a 5. So
most of those single D6 rolls is going to help. 5 is going to help.
Here is why this is dumb. Okay, in new rules, die replacement happens after prob. Yeah, die replacement happens after prob. Okay. There are also characters that allow for you to re-roll 1 dice. I'm going to emphasize that. There are characters that allow for you to re-roll 1 dice. And so, in multitude of situations, Prodigy can functionally punk your opponent by saying, you had a good attack last turn. I have 1 5 or 2 5s, rally dice loaded up on my card. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to prob? Because I have Domino over here who can force a reroll on 1 dice. I got Blaze Claw's fangs, homie. Your character's 4 deep and has toughness. You're going to die. I have next turn I got all these senses ready to proc off. Like Prodigy does not have a keyword in which he's dependent on, and he works with Moira McTaggart. Just like give me them rally cookies. Give them to me now. And he just his rally die. Just his rally die alone makes him worthwhile. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, never mind all the other stuff that he brings to the table. Yeah. Power copying. Yeah. And just 35 points. Yeah, he's not bad.
Yeah,
he's not
super
bad at all.
Okay, so his defense power that he has the entire time is super senses willpower. Which him functionally just saying, I'm MC Hammer, can't touch this. If I got rally dice.
If I have
rally dice. Yep. Then he has unlock all my hidden knowledge. When an opposing character within 6 squares in line of fire makes an attack, you may choose a standard power the attacker can use. It's just when they make their attack, Prodigy can use the chosen power until you choose again. Do understand, Prob in the new era is gold. There's no thing Prob there to save your butt. Prob in the new era is gold. Oh, you came and rolled up on my crew, you have Prob? Guess what I'm taking? I'm taking Prob. Or I'm taking, in some cases, it could get real ridiculous. It's like, I'm taking mind control. I'm taking your running shot. Not running shot. Yeah, I can take your running shot. I'm taking your impervious. I'm taking your shape change. If you act wrong, I'm taking your stealth. Somebody's out of pocket. Like, I'm taking your stealth. So there are a lot of advantages that Prodigy just has that I think like makes him top tier. All right, so it's your pick. What's your next figure?
I mean, I probably shouldn't pick him because TK is so much worse now. But you saw him on my Pauper team.
Oh yeah,
it's 101B the Watcher.
Oh, okay. You're going full tan. You're just accepting the full tan. You're adopting him.
I mean, well, yeah. Not only full tan, like he's voiced by a black man, and if you look at his character design, that's a black animated Watcher is black.
Okay,
black. His card is black. He's not painted very well on the actual figure.
You watched the show, yeah. He got exposed to a lot of solar radiation. Yeah.
but if you look at the card in the original sculpts, or the 3D sculpt that they did, he's one of us in the MCU.
Okay, all right. Why do you like the Watcher? What's so good about him? The 101B.
His trait: I am the Watcher. Watcher's lines of fire are never blocked. At the beginning of your turn, you may turn the Watcher's dial to any click.
Okay.
So he's 6 clicks long, and he's got TK on the first 2 and the last 2. Which in current day clicks is great for deployment because he's got a nice 8 range. In future clicks, it's less good because that 8 range is basically just 4. You can't really deploy teams that nearly as well anymore. But in his damage slot, he's got outwit, perplex, outwit, perplex, outwit. And on his defense slot, he's got 19 defense to start, but gets 18, 19, 19, and 20 defend on his ladder clicks. You can, at the beginning of your turn, you can just pick any one of those that you want. So, there's a little bit of risk to it. If you put them on the 20 and they just roll really high, you've just lost this figure. It was quote unquote only a mystic,
Cosmic,
not a
yeah.
cosmic. Yeah. Um, but yeah, having a 20 defend and being able to defend all your team around you, and you can still perplex or outwit through your own figures or through walls. Not bad. Not bad at all.
I'm going to say you opened my eyes to something. Like, I remember talking about this figure before, and it's sort of one of those things like jingly keys and you forget about it. And I said that he was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And now I remember why I said that. Okay.
Broken, really?
My dear summer child. Let me tell you why this dude is broken. Okay. I remember talking with PJ and Lucas about this, and they're like, strong is not broken. And I'm like, I understand that feeling. And this can be strong, but this also can be a little bit broken. And a lot of folks will be like, well, Dark Logos, why is this broken? Well, for 40 points, there are two things that become really, really dumb with him. The first is, like if you have two tokens, you could just shift to first click, and anyone within your range, you could just sort of get. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to outwit that. Okay, because again, his line of fire is never blocked. You can be behind 18 walls of barrier. His line is never blocked. Your opponent is on 2 levels of elevation lower than you and in stealth. His lines of fire are never blocked. You can extend his range up to 11. On the new maps, it's pretty much over 2/3 of the map, probably 3/4 of the map. Okay. Not only that, you can take him to last click, which sounds really dumb from an offensive level. If you have the perplexes, get his attack up to an 11, 3 enhancements, and now he's 11 for 6 with a 20D. Rocketing people. Now I know that's a lot of energy to devote to a 40-point attacker to Kamehameha, from across the map in the smaller maps. And in the normal maps that we have now, that's not as super awesome. It's not as awesome.
Yeah, not viable.
It's not your best use. But you can easily have him 1 perplex in his attack and 2 enhancements, which is rather accessible. Because we can't forget that you can just have a dark hold and have perplex for 10 points. Or the Yellow Lantern Ring and have perplex for 10 points. Okay? And now all of a sudden he's throwing blast down. Maybe not like he's Thor from on high or Zeus, being silly. But definitely he'll zap you like Shango real quick. I think that there is an advantage to playing him. And definitely going forward, and I think this is the other part where it gets a little dirty, is that if you do not deal with him that turn and you put the heat on him, okay, let's just say you put 1 attack into him and he's on click 3, he lands on click 6. Okay, not only is everyone that he's next to defended up and you fail to land the killing blow on him, all he's going to do is all right, homie, I'm back on click 1. You took that Mystics for nothing. I'm going to outwit you and I'm going to plink you. Whether I have,
he'll outwit you. He might not.
Or rest of his team can. That's true. So, and the other thing that makes him have a bigger advantage than some of the other previous watchers is he's not a giant or colossal.
Yeah.
So he can just be carried. And there's enough stuff that just makes it work. So you get him and Fred and the Scooby Gang together. All of a sudden, the Watcher be telling, Scoob and the gang who done it. So, there's other things that become very powerful with this. Like you said, like I said before, give him a dark hold. Now he has prob. So he either is perplex and prob or outwit and prob. And you can't block the line of fire. He is always going to have line of sight for his prob. If you give him the Tesseract, now he's just bamfing around and has prop. So I like it. You made me come back and think about a piece I hadn't thought about in a while. So props to you, sir. Props to you. All right, so
I'll always take props from Mr. Edward Shelton.
All right, so we'll have two more.
He's a better player than me.
I appreciate it. All right, so we'll wrap this up. We'll have two more picks each. I'm gonna call this my wacky fun time pick. Okay, from inspiration from you. All right, Sync from Hellfire Club. Now I know somebody would probably think like, man, I thought you were going. Yeah,
Really?
Sync from Hellfire Club. Okay, here.
Made my first list.
Oh my good friend.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I did is because I was looking at him. He's not on a Hellfire Gala team. Looked at him in that light. He's on a Hellfire Gala team, then he definitely makes the rest of that team go, and he can do a few things himself. But on anything else, he's...
All right, so
okay.
Here is my case. And this is something where if anyone's played Mimic will understand. You literally have to build the team around him. Yes.
Around Sync?
It sounds dumb, but you do.
Fair.
And you preferably need one other Hellfire Club character. Just one. All right. So here's the setup, and this is how it goes. All right. So Hellfire Club Gala, pretty much it's the, hey, y'all, we rolled 2 5s. Guess what? This cool proc goes off. All right. So don't forget that. If another X-Men rolls a 5, Hellfire Club Gala, you roll an attack, one of them is a 5, Hellfire Club Gala figure can be like, nah, man, that other one's a 5. So you functionally have dice fixing and dice replacement. You have dice replacement. Okay? So, you have coordinating outfits and powers. This is where it all gets fun. Perplex. When Sync uses it to target a friendly character, that includes himself. If that character has high fashion trait, the next time that character hits this turn, they can use their high fashion trait regardless of the attack result. Okay? Now, here is what his high fashion says. High fashion rainbow jacket with all black suit and fedora. When a friendly character with the X-Men keyword hits and a 5/5 was rolled after resolutions, choose a standard power a friendly character with the X-Men keyword has on their card. Not what's shown on their dial, they have on their card. If you do, Sync can use the chosen power until his next turn. Now, why is this a big deal? All right. First attack that you have with the high Hellfire Club Gala character, they go and attack. They get the 5/5. Boop. Sync gains a power. You pick your attack power or whatever you need to get your attack in. Okay? You proc your 5/5. Okay? His stuff goes off. And all his stuff goes off. All the other Hellfire Club Gala's stuff goes off. Okay? But in this particular situation, you preferably want Rogue. Okay? Rogue is literally the best one. Then what you end up doing is he perplexes himself. He goes and attacks. His high fashion trait triggers again. So then you pick a second power. And remember, it lasts until the end of your next turn. Your next turn, somebody else attacks, procs high fashion, you have 3 powers. Then he perplexes himself, attacks, and then procs. If he hits, it'll proc his effect. He has 4 powers. He'll lose 2 at the end of the turn. Wash, rinse, repeat. He has willpower his entire die.
Okay. I see. Build around him. He's actually decent.
He can be like hypersonic speed, super senses, Running shot is probably going to be his weakness. Like, I wouldn't want a really running shot with him. Dual target EE, running shot, dual target EE, having prob and not perplex, prob and outwit. So then he has prob, perplex, and outwit. Like, the multitude of combinations is really good. Is he like Super Skrull and Sarkarian Iron Man good? No, because it does require some finagling and setup. And truth be told, you do want to have another high fashion character there. You just do. To make it a little bit easier on him. But if you know when you're designing your X-Men team, whether you're running him at full or half, Sync is going to be my secondary attacker, or he's going to be my secondary attacker, and I'm building around that. Oh man, he can change games. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I definitely had not considered that. He's still going to be on my worst list from last year, but
that's fine.
The truth is, even the worst figures in HeroClix these days are still actually pretty good. You can find a way to use all of them. There's nothing like the bad figures of yesterday.
Yeah, I'll give you that. All right, what's your pick?
I'm trying to stick to stuff that's modern that didn't come out like last year in 21. So that's why I'm leaving Maggot off the list, even though he's still. Yeah. And that's why I'm also gonna leave Teen Lantern off the list, even though, she's so sneaky good on these forces. Actually, let's talk about Teen Lantern while we can, because she's probably gonna rotate out
she's
this
definitely
summer.
gone.
Miss her already. So with the new skinnier starting areas, mega taxis like Green Lantern are getting a little bit weaker in the sense that they just won't be able to carry a whole team turn on without burning a lot of extra actions, get other people in position. So there's that minor weakness. There's also the fact that Barrier is weaker now. That's her main protection is Barrier and, one square Barrier. That's problematic. Although, frankly, Barrier needed to have something that was a hard counter to it. So I'm here for the new Barrier rules, or more accurately, for the new Super Strength rules. I can tear up a Barrier and start smashing people.
As everyone knows my perspective on it, I like the Barrier rules on current map. I agree that there need to be something to deal with Barrier in having to engage, a ton of Barrier is a problem. Where I do not like the new rules is the new map. I think the new rules make Barrier a joke. And that's my viewpoint. I've experimented more and more and more, and I talk with Lucas. I'm like, hey, okay, I get some hope a little bit. I go and play test, and then it's like, nah, I don't like this. It's like, then I go and talk, and I'm like, okay, then I with another team member, and they're like, well, think of it this way. Then I play test, and I'm like, nah, this isn't working out the way that I want it to work out. But yeah,
Barrier used to be very easy to use to, completely wall off an opponent from being able to do anything to you. Now it's not. You have to make yourself a double up 4 square, 4x4, 2x2 square barrier if you wanted to be of any use anymore at all. Even then, it still might not work.
I hate saying this, and this is where Teen Lantern actually does shine. You need stop signs. That's exactly what you need. You need to have stop signs. And the reason why you need to have stop signs, and it's so essential, is if you go and look at WizKids, they just put out the new stop sign ruling. and it says once you get it is the right ruling. Once you immediately get in the aura of that stop sign, you do not have improved movement. Period. Yep.
Which means you can't smash the barrier because it would be an illegal occupation game state.
And so even more so, and this is why it's important when I say this. Does it double or triple down on the fire hydrant? A little bit, it does. But when you're dealing with multiple level barrier, the fire hydrant is line of sight, which is how I lost my hindering terrain markers. Completing that story from before. John Stewart dropped freaking fire hydrant on me, and my Batgirls lost their smoke cloud.
It's away all the smoke.
I lost my smoke cloud. So I mean, it's there's a whole lot of stuff. If I have to force my opponent, if my opponent is forced to get close enough to drop fire hydrant on me, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm not. I still have some frustrations. I'm even sort of fine with Quake just taking out 3 of my blocking. You still have to have line of fire. Okay, which means like you just can't like dip out like a whole bunch of terrain. Where the real issue with barrier, and a lot of folks, excuse me, did not want to actually resolve or deal with the truth, which is improved movement, destroyed blocking. Currently, the way it is in new rules was the answer to barrier. It was the hard counter to barrier. It did not matter if you put 1 to 2 sets of game design behind decent bricks with improved movement, destroyed blocking. There was nothing that a barrier player without the lantern could do to stop that figure. Without a green lantern ring or a lantern ring. And that to me is fine. That to me is fine. Because otherwise, it got insane because everyone got barrier for 10 points. But anyway, I'm in on a soapbox. That's not what I was intending to do. Any other comments about Teen Lantern? Any last comments about Teen Lantern?
She still gets the free barrier. A kind of neat new use for barrier now is, especially the free version, is make a barrier and then your super strong character can like pick up that square barrier and use it in attacks. So she can just kind of give a super strong character endless weapons.
That's something that I didn't think about, where it is a minor perk of free action barrier pairs.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely a minor perk, but it is one that will be used by yours truly.
So my only question with her is if
she's also a prop.
Yeah, because she can prop through her square barrier. So what happens? Like you pick up that square barrier, she can prop through it. Like,
no. Once it's picked up and held, it's basically off the map.
Okay. I was like, wow, that could be pretty sneaky good.
Yeah, no, it's not quite that good.
Okay.
She's got a normal barrier, so she can like make a free one. That's the one that your brick uses, and then she bails a regular barrier and probs through that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right, here's my last pick for the evening, or for the whenever you're listening to it. You can tell we're recording in the evening. I'm going to pick my boy, my favorite first black superhero since I was like tiny. Like, all right, my first favorite black superhero got a very good, solid piece as a common. Let me make sure. Uncommon. Close enough. Uncommon. Bishop.
I think I know what you're
Bishop.
I know what you're going to say. Because you talked him up to me last time we met. Like,
Kyrie ended up facing my Bishop when we played. All right. Why is Bishop worth your attention? I'm going to tell you straight up. In the new world, 80 points is hella expensive. and you're going to be like, well, why aren't you playing him at low? At low, he sucks. He sucks, people. Never play him at low. Never play him at low dial. He sucks.
Let me look at him.
Okay,
look at this card.
You'll never play him at low, and I'm going to go into it. Yeah, because he's 10 attack.
Yeah. I'm looking at it as just 35 points.
No, you are
no. If he was 25,
yeah, you are never that desperate.
25.
Okay, 80 points. PD, X-Men, leadership. The PD alone, I understand that inflates his points by a good chunk. But in a team formation, which the X-Men are, and I know Pulse Wave is all better. I understand that. Okay. There's a few times that I'm able to just geek out on this dude. Okay. All right. So here's the key takeaways for Bishop of why you want to play Bishop. First off, 12 attack. 12 attack. You don't get 12 attack on a lot of low rarity figures. Not printed. Might be finagled.
Might be able to perplex up there. You might be able to RCE up to this.
But this dude has a higher attack rating than Blue Marvel, who comes in at a rare. Okay? Next, you have Outwit. Which allows for you to pick your shot and then shoot them. Just straight up, just do that. Okay.
Or roll up and shoot
then outwit them.
Then outwit them.
Yep.
At 6 range, that's going to be better than
in new maps. In new maps, 6 range is almost sniper level. Okay. Then you've taken your best shot. Now it's my turn. Free. If Bishop took damage, period damage, since your last turn, heal him 1 click. And in this turn, he can use Range Combat Expert. Did I pop you in the mouth with your mystics? I took damage. Not only am I going to heal that back, but I also have RCE to light you up. It's like I'm Bishop. So all of a sudden, if your opponent is not trying to focus on Bishop, he's just like, oh, you thought you could make me bleed. And then he's like, yo, you did a good job. Let's see how you like me being 12 for 4 now. Or 13 for 4 now. Like, let's go. Okay, his other trait gives him leadership the entire dial. And when Bishop uses it and succeeds, this turn friendly characters that have X-Men team ability may use it as free.
So even if you did hit him like really hard, he was only able to like heal up 1 from that. Might be surrounded by some other X-Men. Well, if he gets his leadership, they just might just heal him all the way back up.
Yeah.
Now you're dealing with the 13.
Yeah, they'll do a prayer meeting on him and lay hands and touch and agree that he's healed. That and then all of a sudden, boom! This is happening. So,
he's taking you to war college.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna take him to church too with that into this.
His name is
yeah, but the key takeaway is like you have the ability to get so much shield for X-Men, whether it's Abigail Brand or Dazzler, and let's just say, hey, you're running your Black History Month team or your All Black Everything team. He's still solid because if in new rules, support is dumb. Okay, support is dumb. If your opponent ever fails to kill him, they just wound him. You just get that support, touch and agree, heal him up a little bit, and then all of a sudden he's bringing down the fire from on high on people, and that's why I like him. That's why I like him. That's why he's my last pick for the show. Okay, Kyrie, what's your last pick, sir?
My last pick is one that I liked before. Now with the return of knockback damage, she gets absolutely stupid. Common Storm, 10 of Swords. Like the only saving grace that keeps her from just being absolutely busted is that Force Blast minimum range shrinks down to 4 instead of 6, like it was before. But now she's actually got to go within her actual 5 range to be able to pinball people wherever she likes. But the fact is, she can still kind of pinball people wherever she likes. And with her having natural perplex, she can get back up to that 6 range if she wants.
Yeah.
Not that person who you thought was out of range and safe up on that building. No, she's gonna send a gust of wind and blow you off that building, and suddenly you are taking 1 damage for free. No action required. She might have had to move up. That might be actually 1 action, but yeah, all of a sudden they thought they were safe up on the roof.
Safe on the roof. Yeah. And I mean, choosing the direction of the knockback becomes useful.
Yes. It's just a sword bearer, so you can pack whatever sword you like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, because she just had a straight force blast, so she did melee somebody with the sword. She could just knock someone sideways. Yeah, that could be interesting. I don't know. You've given me another point of thought for some usefulness. I'm not going to make any promises I'm going to play her anytime soon.
Yeah. She's I like her, and I think that she could get ridiculous, but it's still kind of the only thing she does. So she's not like an auto. She's not an auto pick. Like if you want to build a competitive or meta-worthy black team, put her on. I wouldn't quite go that far.
Yeah, I will. We'll have honorable mention for our boy T'Challa Star-Lord. Honorable mention for T'Challa Star-Lord.
Yeah.
It's like good, but not quite good enough.
Which one?
Pulse Wave one. 11 attack, 4 damage, 100 points.
Yeah. I was about to say which one, but the uncommon
the good one.
It's that 100 points.
It's that 100 points though. I mean, if he was 80 points, I would be singing his praises instead of Bishop. So, man.
Sure. Yeah, he is an example of one who takes a little bit of a hit with these new rules. Now that theme teams just aren't as good, his ability to make theme teams out of all those different keywords is just not as good. I actually have a list of a bunch of figures that either get a little better or a little worse with these rules changes. Like say Prime Bishop, for instance.
He got good.
He is not as good because you think he got better?
On new maps, no.
Because I would say that's what I'm saying. It's like on new maps, he's not as solid because it's much easier for people to get into his shard zone.
Yeah, new maps. I do not like him as much. Now I will say there are 2 major adjustments that I believe the game will go through. This is bonus content, people, because we're done talking about Black History Month stuff. For those of you who have stuck to the end through this, congratulations! You get us talking about new rules and implications for game state. So, congratulations. Here's the issue that I look at. So, Bishop has a key proc. It's like if they have prob, he gets a bonus. And I'm checking it. Yeah, he gets a bonus. And there's past and future keyword, I think is it. Yeah, when Bishop attacks +1 characters with past and or future keyword or that can use probability control, modify attack by +2 and damage by +1. Okay, so if we're looking at what he can do by himself in a vacuum, going forward, the game is going to have two major adaptations with what they did to Theme Team. Is either A, you're going to see a lot more dice replacement for single dice, or you're going to see people playing a lot more prob. My belief is it's going to start hitting home in about 2 months after Spider-Man releases that the average team does not have enough prob. I would bet on 1 month, but most of the people that are the anti-sky is falling is going to gaslight people. Say, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. You just need to play more. Get good, bro. No, that's not true. The modern game is designed around having 2 probs per roll. Okay? And I say that honestly. 2 probs per attack roll. Okay? When you start looking at Bishop, while he's modern, coming in and folks start adapting for that and packing more prob, yeah, he starts going gangster on people. And again, going back to X-Men, if he's on an X-Men team, there is a crap ton of ways of getting shielded up. So his range is no longer a 6. I would always tell people, look at every X-Men team, and if all of your X-Men do not have a minimum +2 range, you're playing X-Men wrong. Okay? You should just have it from S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay? You should be playing Dazzler. You should be playing Abigail Brand. Or else you are playing X-Men wrong. Flat out. With X-Men having swapped, there is no reason why one of those 2 figures are not on your team. Especially Dazzler. Okay. Sermon off on that. So he's blasting people potentially 8 away for 4, and if he's taking shield damage, getting a shield bump, he's doing 5 damage for 40 points. That's really useful. And you're also eliminating the prob pieces. So people are going to first result to cheap prob is my assumption. They're soon going to learn that cheap prob is not going to cut it going forward. Then the adjustment is going to be for prob, Darkhold, Tesseract. Those are the 2 adjustments that are going to come. And a lot of people will be like, ooh, Tesseract, ooh. But no, like Tesseract will be in play, especially on characters that are utility and have cosmic or utility and have willpower. Okay? And then we're going to encounter the durability issue, is that now your prob is an attacker. Your prob is on somebody that has 6 clicks plus of life and has either multiple stop clicks or at least 1 stop click, damage reduction, or like stupid evasion. Like, oh, I get super duper senses because I have Wonder Woman or Spider-Man TA. And my rollout, I got a bonus to my super senses, so I roll out on a 3 through 6. Or you have something like my shape change is dumb, where I roll out on a 3 through 6. All those types of things. Okay, you're going to see your prob on those types of characters. Then people are going to adapt quickly, and then they're going to start packing more outwit. WizKids is going to counter by increasing. By that time, we should start seeing their view of big cosmic pieces, and you're going to start seeing cosmic pieces with prob, cosmic pieces with Darkhold, cosmic pieces with Tesseract, probably some more prob-like equipment. And then now you can't outwit it. You have to kill the prob characters. And if they're on somebody sturdy or someone that gets bonuses when they get hit, or their dials hulk out and get better, it's going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot more different of a game. These big 7-8 man teams, they're going to compress down to 5. Then they're going to compress down to be between 3 to 4, because durability is the only thing WizKids cannot take away from you. They can't take your clicks of life away from you with a power. You know, they can't just be like, oh, I play so and so, you now have 2 clicks less of life. They can't do that. And once the defense bros like mine, like me, and those like me start giving up barrier, we start giving up on high stats because WizKids is on that crack, and they're going to keep printing 12s. And again, I'm not hating on 12s, but there used to be a point in time in the game where 12 in a whole meta block, there were only 2 characters with a 12 attack. You know, that weren't colossal or colossal or exclusives to Khan. I'll make that caveat. All right, so there's whole periods in the game where there's like 2 characters with a 12 attack. All right, so once they start realizing, oh, defense isn't really, the defense stats aren't really that good anymore, bro. Oh, you know, powers. I had super duper shape change and super senses, and Cosmo negated it, or I got outwitted, bro. Like all these things that the defensive player was relying on behind barrier, and once all that's washed away, they're going to be like, oh, I see. This is just a cage fight. I'm going to get the biggest, beefiest, strongest, you know, Megas XLR, if you catch that reference, type characters that I can get. And then we're going to throw down in the middle. And that's going to be the game. I'm not going to play fancy clicks anymore. I'm going to play bar fight rules clicks. You're going to have to get through 8 clicks. You're going to have to get through 10 clicks. You're going to have to get through 11 clicks if that comes back. You know, that, and then Colossals may actually see an uptick because they'll have more clicks of life. And you might actually see that be a thing where Colossals are fighting Colossals like we're playing the freaking WoW miniatures game for a brief bit when that was popular. So, but what's your viewpoint?
I hadn't really thought about it quite as deeply as you have about, you know, what the future game state is going to be like. Yeah, I'm just geeking out over the fact that, you know, now normal boot speed characters will be able to scale up walls and throw down on, you know, somebody who thought they were safe away from the edge of the rim. Elevated.
Yeah, that's going to be a positive. I think that's going to be a positive. My only question with that is, with the smaller maps, how is map design going to change? And
yeah, that's the real question.
Did you play any of the slop, the Exosword slop? You remember that one map that was like, it was a battle royale map, and it was like, I think it was 3 levels of elevation, and like that top level of elevation was like 2 squares deep. You remember that? Did you play on that one?
Not in Tennis Swords, no.
So,
wait, no. Okay, I might be thinking about it. It was like on the edges where it had that.
Yeah, it was sort of like,
okay. Yeah.
Okay. That map made me start thinking, when we get, you know, our new standardized maps, and that's the only thing that we have, it led me to a question of, I'm like, okay, this literally was you all's first attempt being serious of having, you know, multiple levels of elevation beyond, you know, level 1, level 2 on one of these maps. And how are you going to depict that going forward? I think that's the question for me, because it felt a bit awkward on that map, navigating. And again, we did have to deal with transitional squares and all this other stuff. But even if I take away transitional squares and I can just, you know, boop, stop, you know, once I get to wherever I need to get to, I think elevation is still going to, it's going to be weird for, like, and I know this is me being a little hyperbolic, I think elevation is going to be weird for a couple of years. Because when you're on our standard maps now, it makes sense. Like, oh, there's these buildings, and then there's the tippity top of the roof, and then there's, over a little bit is like where the building goes off, and then there's ground level. 3 levels of elevation makes sense in that. But on the teeny tiny maps, I don't know how I feel yet.
I don't know.
But my other question for you would be is and I know I'm Mr. Negative most of the time. What else do you feel is like one of the better changes with new rules?
Let me think. I actually did like a whole blog post talking about winners and losers in these new rules. See if I can pull it up really fast.
Because people, I will also remind folks that Kyrie is a judge, so like he'll judge for Rock, and so that's why I'm also sort of picking his brain on some of this. So he's on the other side of when you raise your hand and you yell judge. He's there to answer that for you.
Yeah, and for most normal rules, I will be absolutely accurate. For some of those weird corner case ones, that might be the one where I need to call for help. So I'm really kind of stoked by how useful super strength will be going forward. My only caveat and concern is how difficult will it be to get this new terrain, these new terrain objects, be able to use it properly. But yeah, I'm really excited about super strength actually just being useful again. Because for a long time it just wasn't. Quake is going to be interesting. I've gotten used to Quake being able to represent both some beefy dude like the Thing, smashing the ground and making people tumble. Also to represent the likes of Black Widow, just sweeping the leg out from a bunch of ninjas. Now Quake is actually, I guess, probably back to what they originally intended, to represent a big beefy guy slamming the ground and making everybody fall over. But now it's got this extra additional thing where they can essentially attack through walls with Quake, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think like I said before is I believe
have like ranged Quake out. It's going to be silly.
Oh, sorry about that. I definitely think that Quake is going to be one of those big powers that people are going to start looking at again. I really do. Yeah, I've done enough play testing with new rules to just have like, oh, hey, you Quake my barrier. I lost 3 squares. My entire team is exposed, and now they die. Okay, it's like that's all she wrote on that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be a lot more creative with barrier now if you're gonna use it. Well,
and that's where I'm more at.
Support. Yeah, support is also going to be interesting because it's going to actually be useful without all the caveats that you had to fill before in order to use it. Is it going to be too useful? That's a question mark that I have. I was just looking at a figure who will probably rotate this year, but she's still modern now.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yep. Support, when she uses it after resolutions, that character modifies the defense plus X for your next turn, where X is the number of their action tokens. So in your apocalyptic view of the future, where it's all just big beefy guys slobbering, knocking in the middle of the ring in a cage fight. Also in this cage fight is going to be this medic right behind them, maybe carried by this slobber knocker. She's just healing them up every single turn.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing.
Because support.
A friend of mine, Will Holland, he was on the show I think he was on the last time we did Black History Month, and he had a tournament today, and I helped him a bit with his team, and we had Cecilia on there, and she pulled some weight a bit, but the thing that I like going forward with support of not having to roll to attack, because at that point, you created a problem in the rules with support, which was when they made it not an attack roll, and when they got rid of the crit miss fail, I thought like, okay, that's fine. I wasn't too happy about that. But when they said like this is no longer attack roll,
then they changed.
They changed they changed support because they made it clear that it wasn't an attack roll. Once they indicated that it wasn't an attack roll, I sort of sat back. I'm like, so if I have a bad support roll, I'm sort of screwed, and I functionally took an action for nothing. Now you can say that, hey, you're missing. Okay, that's fine, but to me, I was like, it created a weird environment where you saw, and we all know these combos: 14 defense defend, 16 defense defend, or a 16 defense defend, 11 attack, like values that don't make sense. And when they took away chain defend, those figures, their only role was for support. Now going back, like those figures are functionally like dead. Like they really are. Like all those like cheap defend supporters, they're just done. They don't work in the current game model. But being able to again roll a d6, that's the roll, and I'm able to heal half the result. Round it up. That's great. Go back to what I was talking about, Prodigy. Prodigy becomes stupid good because with Prodigy you're just like, oh yeah, I got rid of that rally die. Yeah, that was a 1. Nope. That's a 5 now. Heal for 3. And I see that being so much of an issue. And unfortunately, I am viewing a very dark world where we're going to see characters that are like 6 clicks or 7 clicks, and they have 3 or 4 stop clicks. And then you have to get around and kill them through weird caveats such as, I have God Killer, so you can't use stop, or I ignore stop clicks, or stuff like that. Like, I think once WizKids realizes, sort of the dark future, what I'm talking about, they're going to start remedying that by creating characters that have a bunch of stop clicks and short dials, bunch of stop clicks, and then they're going to create characters that have anti-stop click tech. But support is something that I am happy about as a defense player, because it goes perfectly in tandem with, like I said, the dark timeline that I see, that longer dials, you're in a fight, you're hitting, hitting. You're right at that next to last stop click. You need some love, and boom, I let's just say I just heal you for 1. I force my opponent to probably put 2 more attacks into that character than what they were planning or hoping for. And then I got the new pack up, the Spider-Man pack, and where's support? Support. Choose an adjacent friendly character and roll a d6. Heal that character, number of clicks equal to half that result. So you don't even if you are based now, support is better, because before they couldn't be based by an opposing character. So it's definitely getting a lot better in that aspect. Yep.
So when they changed Prob to only work on attacks and breakaways, didn't work on support anymore, and that made support a lot less useful because it was always fraught because you could always fail that attack roll. So yeah. Yeah, the new change means that support won't be able to give you like the minimum 2 healing that it's been giving us. So it actually has the possibility to fail on if you're on a stop click, but you get some, you lose some.
Yeah.
On the whole, it gets a very big boost in usefulness.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to point out with new rules, or is that it for you?
I had a few other black clicks that might see some extra
of the rules. Just go ahead and list them out for us.
Both let's see, which Captain America is this? There's a Captain America in Disney Plus. He also has Force Blast. That might see a little extra use. Although why you'd actually use him over the chase, I don't really know. The new Falcon in Avengers Forever has Charge Quake, so that could be useful with the new knockback. Hunter B-15 gets to knock back people that she encaps. So that's not too shabby for 30 points. Who else? Miles Morales West gets a little better with Spider-Man team ability. Gives him an extra bit of rollout ability.
Yeah, I think he's also retiring though. Like he's on the way out.
Yeah. Number of them they are on the way out. One who's not on the way out is Ravonna Renslayer. If you're playing future, past, police, or politician teams, friendly characters with a shared keyword within range and line of fire have safeguard opposing probability control. That could be useful. She's also a proper herself.
Oh yeah, because again, Prob is at the premium now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why did I pull Tempo out? Oh yeah, Tempo, Prob. Also, adjacent opposing characters can't use super senses. Might be useful against these spider people.
Potentially she could be good going forward. She also gives +3 or -3 movement to a character of her choice. So yeah,
and on new smaller maps where charge is newly important,
and it's a modifier, not a replacement. So yeah, it's you're going where you want to go. So yeah.
Yep. And why did I pull Thunderball out? This is the legacy card version. Giant Reach 3 Quake. Not too shabby.
I am so iffy on the Thunderball. Now, hear me out. Okay, so
that's understandable.
Here's the reason why I'm iffy on Thunderball, and this comes from a point in time. I think way back in the day, I backed this figure as being good. So first off, it has improvement with destroys blocking. And then you have live up to the name. Thunderball can't be the target of ranged attacks or outwit if he's on click 1 or if he's within 3 squares of a debris marker. So they gave him like an upgraded WWE. But then he has gang up if Thunderball is adjacent to a friendly character with the Wrecking Crew keyword and an opposing character. He takes a maximum of 2 damage from attacks. The Oddball and Chain. Giant Reach 3 Quake, unique modifier. When Thunderball hit characters modify combat values by -1 until your next turn. Okay, so I'm stating all the stuff that he does. In new rules, he does something that is really good, which is he has improvement movement, destroys blocking. So you sort of throw him up there, he charges into the blocking, and then he quakes. So he's able to demolish a massive amount of massive amount of barrier terrain, okay, or blocking terrain. All right. So here's the problem that I have is for his same point value, you also have Colossus. There's a Colossus that is a lot better attacker. and his stats are just too low. They tried to pump up his durability, and again, Wrecking Crew is very like close, punchy guys. So that's fine that they're going to just be there, but unfortunately, he's just like at a disadvantage. Now, the Giant Reach 3, I can't hate on that. That's just nice. But when we start looking at other characters in that point range, he doesn't compete. He doesn't compete even with them redoing everything.
True. That's true. When I thought of him, for some reason I was thinking of him as at a 60-point level, but that's one of the other Wrecking Crew people who are just that cheap, and he's still the most expensive of the three outside of Wrecker.
What is funny is Thunderball the Pog is way better.
Right.
He does almost exactly the same thing without the charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, where can everybody find your blog at if people weren't able to catch that before?
Yeah, it's heroclixin.com. That is heroclix add an IN .com. And you'll find heroclixin where it's all about fun. You will not find very many deep meta strategies from me, but you might find some fun little battle reports and occasionally fun reviews of certain keywords and teams that I like.
All right. Again, I'd like to thank Kyrie for coming on, Mr. Black Samson. And so, again, if you liked the episode, leave a comment below. You can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it piffy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. And I keep trying to mess with my Twitter settings and it just doesn't work. So I guess I'm gonna have to abandon my Twitter to outer space. More, I guess, on the nose since Elon Musk is running Twitter now. So who knows? He might deliver my Twitter back to my YouTube. Who knows? So that's it. I'd like to thank you all for listening. And remember, we all have to start over sometime.